This is Richard Lynch, you're watching ilovelimerick.com, and today I'm here to speak about the Limerick Growing Communities project. Michael, can you explain what is the Limerick Growing Communities project?
Limerick Growing Communities project is basically a partnership between a range of different organisations and community groups looking at the potential for community growing in Limerick City. A lot of people would assume that there was very limited scope for producing food within the city. We find that plenty of examples from overseas and even in Ireland that that's not the case, that there's plenty of green space in the city and lots of community growing activity there already. So the whole idea behind the project is to figure out what's there already, how can we support that to grow and expand, and where is the potential for new community growing projects.
How did Living Woodlands get involved with the Limerick Community Growing project?
Living Woodlands is a Limerick-based social enterprise that creates community forests, and in March of 2023 we were asked by the Limerick Growing Communities Working Group to undertake a feasibility study, a report really into the landscape of community growing around Limerick City.
And why is community growing so important for Limerick City?
I think community growing is important for everybody and for anywhere, but particularly in Limerick City. Community growing offers a range of benefits in terms of health, allowing people access to fresh, local organic food, in terms of the environment, increasing pollinator-friendly planting around the city, and maybe most crucially socially, it allows people to meet their neighbours, meet their community and forge connections within their own communities.
Can you speak to me about Paul Partnership's involvement with Limerick Growing Communities?
Paul Partnership's involved in Limerick Growing Communities because we think it's really important that Limerick Growing Communities can be kind of a flagship project in the city to develop the whole area of community growing, facilitate the collaboration between all the stakeholders to bring them together and have that conversation where we're bringing people together, consult and develop a 3-year action plan out of this. And part of the role that we'll also do is looking at how to leverage funding. We have put some SICAP money into this already in relation to the feasibility study, and we will see the development of this project under social enterprise side of our house, where we support the social enterprise network, but also in relation to Limerick Food Partnership, where we're currently looking at the whole area of food poverty as well in the city and county.
The Learning Hub is one of the communities involved in the Limerick Growing Communities project. Why did you choose to get involved?
The Learning Hub has always offered educational programs to children and families in the community, and we provide a wide range of activities, and one of our focuses is health. And as we started to focus more on health, we started growing food ourselves, growing in a small area that we have here in Killeely. And then through Social Enterprise Limerick, we realised that lots of other groups were doing this as well. And we decided to see how we could pool our resources. So instead of doing things on our own, we needed to do things together.
Mick, we're here today for Limerick Growing Communities. What's the context of that on a global level?
I think the overall context is that we've got a food system globally that's in a lot of trouble. You can see around us the issues with climate change. We see them every day. I think the food system is responsible for a lot of that. Most of the biodiversity collapse is caused by the food system. And then for all of that, it's not doing a brilliant job at keeping us all fed and healthy. So it's a very extractive food system that's taking a lot from the planet and not giving a lot back.
And this Limerick Growing Communities, can we replicate this all over Ireland, all over the world?
Limerick could be a real pioneer in this space, and then absolutely it's a blueprint that other cities could follow. And so then the challenge becomes, how can we get people in homes and schools and communities all over the world growing some of their own food, because that would, we think, lead to a sort of a tipping point for a healthier and more sustainable food system.
Because it is really about getting individuals involved, because the more individuals involved, that forms a community within itself, doesn't it?
It is about the individual, that one enthusiastic person in the community, in the school, in the organisation that wants to grow and wants to drive it forward. And the idea behind Limerick Growing Communities is to provide that support to anybody who's growing in the city.
Will this be the first of its kind in Ireland?
Limerick could be a global example of a city that produces its own food, and the potential for that is huge. It's mind-blowing.
Wow, Michael, thank you so much. This is the Limerick Growing Communities project. Stay tuned for updates. You've been watching ilovelimerick.com, and we'll see you soon.